right now. So you'll notice up at the top it says live on YouTube. Give me just a second.
Copy streaming link.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you can view. Yeah, you can copy streaming link right from that from the top there.
Nice.
Exactly. Hi, Dr. Lane.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How are
All
you?
right.
Good.
And by the way, we are live on YouTube, so just to let everybody know.
Hello, everyone.
Well, thank you, Carol.
Hello. Thank you, Carol.
I love it.
And soon to be live on Facebook as well. So we'll be in both platforms.
Yeah, we were going live on the LGBTQ Resource Center's page. I'll put it here in about a minute.
About a minute.
I just sent it to our office person, and she's going to post it on our.
It's a multimedia event.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol, yeah, I know.
Can't help
So,
ourselves.
Carol, when I share this, it will just start streaming. I don't need to make a post saying this is going to be streaming. You
Nope.
have to click on this.
It will start streaming, and it will send the notification in Facebook that there's a new stream on that page.
Okay.
So anybody that has it in Facebook will get that notification. Yep.
Cool.
This is the part I love where we're like, we're live.
Christina is sending me.
I just sent her a message. Don't worry about her. I got it. She was looking for the link, but I just sent it to her.
Oh, Christina?
Yep. You mean Castillo?
Oh. She's texting me, but I didn't know what it was.
She was just talking about the live link, which I just sent her.
Okay, good. Yeah, they were coming through as multimedia messages, but she has an Android and I have an iPhone, and so they weren't loading.
No worries. We got you back.
All right, good. Yeah, at a certain point when you're taking antibiotics, you start to feel better, like you're not sick anymore, but just that you're taking antibiotics. And so that's a different kind of illness.
Always. That's true. Okay. Dr. Lane, it was lovely to hear you yesterday at the listening session.
Thank you for being on. I thought I saw your name up there.
You did. Yep. I was coming from another event though, so I would have had more to say, but I didn't know what had already been said, so I didn't want to jump in just yet.
All right. Well, you know what? I was waiting for you to jump in.
That's great.
I thought you got busy. I figured you'll have another opportunity.
I do. And the next one's topic is my jam, so watch out for the next one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Damn.
All right. Good. Yeah,
What was that?
I thought you were there.
I was
trying to look back on the screen there.
Yep.
It seemed to work well too, so people could chime in and interact with us a little bit.
Yeah, that was good. It was really good actually, because I wasn't there, like I wasn't in Carbondale, but I had just finished a program, so I wanted to make sure I could still attend. So it actually worked. But the next one, I think I should be there in person, so I'm very excited.
Oh, good, good.
Yes.
Oh, my students are messaging. Okay.
I know, this is where I get to cheat. I'm still a student at Carbondale, even though I am employed.
Are you?
Right.
Yeah, because I'm still a full-time student.
The best of both worlds.
It is. Yeah. It is. And obviously I worked at Carbondale too. So now I feel like I have like all this like system knowledge. It's pretty exciting actually. I'm really excited actually. I get to see like how things work differently.
You bring a lot that way.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say you do. That's an advantage.
I try. I try. Hopefully it pans out in different positive ways for others.
Translate that into.
Yes. I can only hope. I just get excited because what happens like this is where I like now I know everyone on the call. So, like I know Lizette, like I know you, Dr. Lynn, I know Dr. Mahoney. Now I know you too.
So everybody. Well, Vern, I need to know what you have. Is that your cat? I was like, wait a minute, what is that? Look at that. That's a good-looking cat.
Yeah, he's beautiful. He's very social. So he hears you all talking, and
so he knows.
He's like, there's people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So he's attempting to find his way in the computer, and I need to find a way. Oh, he's leaving now. Okay.
Oh, he'll be back.
He'll be back. Especially once I get quiet.
Yeah.
Also, I have us live on my other screen, just muted, and it's pretty funny. It's like funny to watch us like delayed like a few seconds. I'm loving
Do
it.
you? Oh, that's disorienting.
It kind of is. I had to stop it for a second.
I'm too afraid to touch anything for fear that I may delete myself from the forum here. I just don't touch anything.
This is not my strong suit.
I'm afraid to hit a button.
I'm eternally grateful to everyone who is making this happen.
That's Carol.
Well, a year
It's
ago,
Carol.
I tried to do meetings like this a year ago, and people couldn't get it to work, and now we're all doing it.
Yeah.
I
Forced learning curve.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we used to do it. I work for an outside organization, and we used to use Zoom all the time because we're like across the country. So I was used to it, and now I'm like, oh, it's so weird and surreal that now everyone is like, let's do Zoom. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
I totally agree. About a year ago, you're right. And just think 2 years ago, right? We could never have one of these meetings for some reason. It was always something wrong.
Yep.
You're right. We could never,
You'd have someone with feedback, someone who it wouldn't work, and they'd call on the phone, but they wouldn't turn off their computer.
Yeah.
So half the meeting was.
Yeah, never worked.
We just have less of those. Well, it's
Hello
5:01.
to everyone who sees us already. I'm getting text messages that people see
okay.
us talking.
I went into casual instead of professional.
Me too. It's been a while since I get to just chat with people.
Yeah.
Well, Vern, you want to kick us off? It's 5:01.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, if you've been watching us as we chatted for the past couple of minutes, you can tell that we're all very excited to be together and be kicking off something like this. For me, I look forward to LGBTQ History Month every year. And this year is no different, even though there's also been an element of what does this mean? How do we proceed? What is at the heart of what our mission for the month really is or should be? And I've done a lot of thinking on that personally. This is my 4th LGBTQ History Month here at SIU Carbondale, and I've been here 3 years. So do that math. I was hired in the middle of LGBTQ History Month, literally the middle of 2017. And that always appealed to my sentimentality because it's I'm on the cusp of the gay. And so this being the 3rd one that I have been able to sculpt with my colleagues and my connections here. And this year, the year of COVID, this is the global 2nd year of COVID. This is the US's 1st year of COVID. And I want us to keep that in perspective. Does that mean that this year is unique? There are some very unique things about this year. There are some very unique challenges about this year. But I want, and this has been weighing on me, I want to reiterate that a lot of the things about me, my mission, our mission have not changed. My goals are still to support, to be there for LGBTQ students, to engage, to hear from, make connections with new people in Southern Illinois. And then this year, we're very excited to have our friends from Edwardsville be joining us for a system-wide LGBTQ kickoff for History Month. We have not been able to do this before. And so the crisis makes for interesting developments, and there has been incredible hardship. And this community, as we will hear, and as I've been hearing from people, has had its own share of those unique challenges. Anything that puts pressure on population at large increases existing pressures for those micro groups within that population. And so minoritized communities like the LGBTQ community, which has minoritized identities within it, it's an intersectional community, are going to be feeling the pressure of a year like this. So I think that it's important for the folks we have joining us here, and then for myself to make clear to all of you that none of my commitments to myself, none of my expectations for my colleagues and of myself have changed for this year. Nothing is novel about how I view my presence here for you, even if we have to reach out in novel ways. And so if I just did all that without introducing myself. So my name is Vern Cooper. When you refer to me, could you please use he, him, and his pronouns? And so I'm the LGBTQ Resource Center coordinator here at SIU Carbondale. And I would like to introduce my co-facilitator, co-planner, co-comrade, comrade, Lindy Wagner, who is the new director for SIU Edwardsville's Center for Student Diversity and Inclusion.
Yes, hello, Vern. I'll just say hello quickly as well. So as Vern said, my name is Lindy Wagner. I use she, her, hers pronouns as affirming pronouns. And yes, I am the new director at Southern Illinois University Edwardsville as of March. So as you can imagine, it's been a little adventure with COVID as well. But I was commenting a few moments before, if you've heard as we were on here before we began, that I do have the luxury of having worked both at Carbondale and Edwardsville, which makes this a really exciting opportunity because as soon as I started at Edwardsville and was able to reach out to Vern, he was more than willing to share and collaborate and work together on partnerships for this month. And for me, collaboration is really how communities need to come together. And even though, yes, COVID presents this strange but kind of wild opportunity, I'm more than willing to take advantage of it. So thank you, Vern, for that opportunity. I'm really happy that we're able to bring Carbondale and Edwardsville together for this moment of a kickoff for our LGBT community. And back to you, sorry for introductions.
Lindy, I believe you were going to introduce our first speaker.
Oh, was I? Well, I guess I'm getting used to this. I should have remembered. Well, I would like to introduce our first speaker today for some opening and welcoming remarks. We're really excited, again, because we're able to collaborate. It does mean that we've asked our SIU system president, Dr. Dan Mahoney, to speak with us as a welcome. And he has been graciously doing this for multiple events as we've been collaborating. And I'm just really thrilled that he's here with us again to offer those remarks for us now. So Dr. Mahoney, if you'd like to take the floor.
Well, thank you, Lindy, and thank you, Vern, as well, for giving me the opportunity to do this welcome. I'm just happy to be here with all of you today and welcome all of you to this event, whether you identify as part of the LGBTQIA community, or you simply are someone who's interested in finding out more, learning more, or identifying as an ally. And when I bring that up, I should bring up that the Safe Zone Ally Development Training is coming up on October 22nd. So thank you, Vern, for scheduling that on my birthday. It'll be a good birthday present for me. So I appreciate that. I've done that training now at 3 other institutions. So this will be my 4th time doing it. And I will say every time I do it, I learn something new. And so it's valuable, even if you've done it before, I think, to participate. As you talked about, I think really well, Vern, we're not stopping the things that we're focusing on. We really are focused very much on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's been something we've been talking about a lot over the last several months. And just want to be assured that our definition of diversity is very broad. And as we're working right now, even on developing the position description for the first system Chief Diversity Officer, it is a very broad portfolio we expect them to be doing. And that will include issues relative to the LGBTQIA community. And so that's part of that role. And we're really trying to do a better job of focusing on all aspects of diversity. But I also, when I talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, I often point out, and it's actually one of my areas of research, is equity is the one that's often most important to me in some ways, because that is a focus on a community and an institution that's free of bias, where everybody has an opportunity to be here and has a sense of belonging. Sometimes we talk about being welcoming. I think it's more than welcoming. It's that you actually feel that you belong here. And that is really what we're striving to do. It's not only the right thing to do, but I think it's the smart thing to do for us as universities. It's right because we all want to be someplace we're proud of, that's doing the right thing. But I think it's smart because, particularly as we look at where we are today and where we're going in the future, where people, I think, are much more free to define who they are, this is important to them. It's important to their family. It's important to their friends. It's important to a lot of people. And it's interesting, for LGBTQ History Month, I think about this sometimes and what I've seen even in my lifetime as far as LGBTQ history. And I identify myself as an ally, not as a member of the community, but the Stonewall Uprising, and that movie I think is tomorrow night that we're going to be sharing that, and I will be watching that, was when I was a young kid. The 1970s, I remember discussions of boycotting shows simply because they had gay characters. When I went to college in the 1980s, there was no LGBT group on campus at all when I got there. They actually started my sophomore year in college, but their membership was entirely secret because no one felt comfortable being out at that time. That certainly has changed there, and it's changed other places. I went through the 90s when we were working on same-sex partner benefits. The Defense of Marriage Act was the major topic. Don't ask, don't tell, all of those things that seemed very frustrating at the time. But at this moment in history, I feel better than I have at any other moment. The changes that we've seen and the openness to marriage for gay couples was a big step forward. The increasing acceptance and really embracing of people in the LGBTQ community has changed. Don't ask, don't tell is gone. All of those things we've kind of pushed past. And really now seeing my friends who are faculty, staff, and university leaders being able to be out and talk about who they are in ways that wasn't possible when I was a student back in the 1980s. So that makes me feel good about where we are. I also will say that in my short time at SIU, I'm very positive about what I see here. This is my first LGBTQ History Month at any institution I've been at. And so the fact that that's actually happening here, as well as a lot of other activities I participated in, even in the short time I've been here, shows the support that's here. And I will say that support's from the top down, and that includes the Board of Trustees, even above me. And so I feel good about where we are. I also am always well aware that there are some people who are fearful of that future that I'm so excited about, and try to hold on to those pasts. But I think that's always a common thing that we'll see resistance in society to change. But we're committed to moving forward. We're committed to change. We're committed to being very clear about embracing that change. And again, creating that sense of belonging for all of our students. So again, I'm excited about it. One thing we consistently, I always say, need from you is letting us know where we fall short and where we could do better. And so, I'm always looking for suggestions of things we can do. So always reach out. I always say my email is president@siu.edu. So you can always send me an email and I will certainly listen to whatever feedback you have. But rest assured, we're very committed at SIU to not only taking where we are today and embracing that, but moving forward in positive ways. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mahoney. Really appreciate you being here and sharing those remarks with us. So at this time, I'm going to share some additional remarks, and we have those from the SIU Edwardsville Chancellor, Dr. Randy Pembroke. He was unable to join us this evening, but he did give us a recorded message. So I will share my screen here momentarily and share that message with you. My apologies, I hit the wrong button. I even practiced this ahead of time, team.
Thank you, President Mahoney. We appreciate your leadership overall, and particularly regarding equity, diversity, and inclusion. LGBT History Month may seem to have been a tradition for quite some time, but it's a relatively new celebration, having begun in 1994. One icon will be honored each day in October. Deborah Batts was the first openly gay federal judge, and Lori Lightfoot in 2019 became Chicago's first openly gay and first Black female mayor. It's important to remind everyone of the importance of LGBT History Month. It offers us reminders about those who have provided role models, built community, and made extraordinary national and international contributions. Civil rights, human rights belong to us all, and we must never forget the efforts of LGBT community members toward the success of society and the milestones achieved on behalf of future generations. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the SIUE faculty, staff, and student leaders who make a difference on our campus and who will continue to be change makers both on campus and beyond. Co-chairs of the Safe Zone Committee, Dr. Jennifer Hernandez and Nick Niemerk, Rex Jackson, Safe Zone website manager and past chair, and Matthew Burgess, president of the Gay Straight Alliance. Thank you for your contributions to the university. I salute your efforts in support of a campus culture of inclusion and appreciation. I leave you with a quote to ponder as we move into the remarks from our featured speaker from the SIU Carbondale campus, Dr. Lizette R. Chevalier, Associate Provost for Academic Programs, who has primary administrative responsibility for development and coordination of academic and curricular matters on the SIU Carbondale campus. Tammy Baldwin, the first openly gay U.S. Senator, said this: "There will not be a magic day when we wake up and it's now okay to express ourselves publicly. We make that day by doing things publicly until it's simply the way things are. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you so much. And I will pass this on.
I believe it goes to me now, Carol. So it's interesting that Chancellor Pembroke spoke of this notion of leadership and folks who are in the community being in those positions of leadership and being able to model what it is like to live as an out individual. And so there are complications to being one of those people. There are hardships to being the kind of person who lives out and works out. I'm lucky to have made a connection with someone here at SIUC when, you know, really way too long after I came here. I believe it's not been that long since we met. But she spoke at my Lavender graduation 2 years ago, I believe it was, and just said some wonderful things about our Siuc graduates and our LGBTQ future success stories. And so I invited Dr. Lizette Chevalier here today to share what, I don't know, a little bit about what her experience for History Month has been like and what her expectations are, and just a little bit about what it's like to be an out person in a leadership role. So Lizette Chevalier, please, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, well, I really appreciate being here. This moment reminds me of a time early in my career. I had become a chair of an academic department here at SIUC. I think I got the position because my commitment to excellence in the classroom, collaborative research, impactful service at SIU and my profession led to this opportunity to lead this unit. It had 13 faculty, 3 staff, approximately 250 students. And at my very first faculty meeting, I came to a stark reality. I'm an introvert. Now that doesn't mean I'm shy. It means that I'm an internal processor. You know, I have all these great ideas. I'll have the details all laid out. I'm willing to work smart. I'm willing to work hard to achieve these ideas, but I didn't account for one thing. I need to talk. So here I am again, Vern. You asked me if I would be a keynote speaker, and I said yes. And then hours later, I realized, oh my gosh, I need to talk. And so bear with me. Your introvert is going to try to speak with you. First and foremost, I want to thank Vern for organizing this event. I respect his work as the coordinator for the SIUC LGBTQ Resource Center. I also want to thank others at SIUC's Student Multicultural Research Center, as well as the SIUE Center for Student Diversity and Inclusion. All of them work toward the goal of diversity, inclusion, and equity. At SIUC, this is Todd Bryson, who's the director, Shara McKenzie, who is the Black Resource Center coordinator, Sarah Marbles, who is the Women's Resource Center coordinator, and the ever so wonderful Christina Castillo, who is the Hispanic Latino Resource Center coordinator. At SIUE, it is the fantastic Lindy Wagner, who is here with us today as the director, Tarsha Moore, the assistant director, Casey Holt, and Erica Wise, who are both graduate assistants. These centers are a dynamic linkage to our campuses, living up to the promise and potential of our students and our community. Consider the written words of the SIUC mission. SIU embraces a unique tradition of access and opportunity, inclusive excellence, innovation in research and creativity, and outstanding teaching focused on nurturing student success. As a nationally ranked public research university and regional economic catalyst, we create and exchange knowledge to shape future leaders, improve our communities, and to transform lives. Also consider the rich written words of the SIUE value of inclusion, a welcoming and supportive environment, openness to the rich diversity of humankind in all aspects of university life, respect for individuals' differences and culture, intellectual freedom and diversity of thought. These words should guide us. So here's a little of my personal story. I'm the daughter of an Army sergeant who married a WAC, which was the Women's Army Corps. She had to resign when she was married. I was the second of 8 children. We lived in Stuttgart, Fort Benning, Fort Gordon, Verdun, Dachau, Munich, Fort Devens, Roswell, New Mexico, Nuremberg. Imagine 2 parents and 8 kids in airports, train stations, station wagons, hotels, a blue canvas tent, or a VW van. That was us. Everyone in my family has one thing in common. We learned the art of striking up a conversation with a stranger because we love to hear their stories. And we also love to spin a good story ourselves. My dad got his GED in his 40s. My mom did take some college courses as an adult learner. So my path was one of a first-generation student. And here's what I've come to know about education. It is transformative. The child of my story didn't even know what a PhD was, or that you could be an engineer without driving a train, much less that I would end up with 3 degrees in engineering and a career that has led me to speaking with you today as part of a kickoff event for our History Month. I came out in 1976 as a freshman in college. I was completely okay with it, but the world around me was not so much. In response to what life threw at me, I went in and out of college. In fact, the data trend of my GPA looked like a roller coaster. A wise and honest academic advisor described it as such while looking at clear peaks and valleys of the data. She pointed out the peaks and noted that I might have potential. My response to her, stronger grades, and of course, a more focused activism for human rights. And here is what I've learned. As LGBTQ people, we are attacked, we are harmed, and we are even killed by the words and deeds of strangers, families, and friends. People who hold fear, hate, and anger in their hearts, words, and actions are defining who they are. They do not define who we are. Education is transformative. Your education will open doors to thoughts and opportunities. You will gain power and you will gain the gift of knowledge, and you will use it. You will be the history we celebrate this month and all year, because we create community. We create art. We master the intellectual challenges that will allow us to contribute to the fabric of society in amazing ways, even that which is not yet imagined. Our experience makes us better designers, for we design as truly honest people. We dedicate ourselves to the protection, restoration, and respect for the natural and the built environment. We dedicate ourselves to justice and equality. We are healthcare workers, chefs, social workers, librarians, teachers of English as a second language, travel agents, architects, biologists, geologists, psychologists, first responders, recreation professionals, diplomats, and entrepreneurs, literally all works of life. We provide for our family. We build alliances and we work tirelessly for the advancement of all human rights. And yes, Black lives matter. We must acknowledge that we are in a moment of time when civil rights and human rights are threatened. Stay strong, stay steady, lean in for comfort when you need to. Learn, live, love, and learn. You know, in closing, I'm reminded of our fight at the beginning of the AIDS crisis, when it was so eloquently said that it's hard to fight against an army of lovers. which takes me to the words of a song I wrote in my younger days of activism that still runs true. And I'll share it with you. But I'm not going to sing it. By the way, I have a very low and sultry voice. Maybe you'll hear it sometime. She came to me asking a question. I guess we've all asked it sometime. Being a friend was the reason, and loving life left no lie. For nothing can become of a feeling when it's lost in an unknown fear. And each of us will face our own dealings with fate when she comes stepping in here. So I told her, just let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Just let the love come on flowing. I told her, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Just let it flow. Now take the time to participate in the events that are planned for this month. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. Good night, and thank you. Oh, and Vern, on behalf of Vern, he asked me if I would please introduce the Chancellor. Would you like me to do that, Vern?
I'll take it back from you if that's okay. I'll go ahead and do that.
I will let you take it back, sir, since I said good night like I was a talk show host.
That's okay. I started sweating when you did that, and I was like, oh, what's next? But yes, and thank you so much. And every time I hear you speak, I sort of get these visions, so easily. My folks my age, and then folks our students' age, think of all that history is truly gone, but that history is still very much alive, and it's so tangible. And when you say something like reach out or lean in, that is what I'm always trying to get them to do for me. And so to close us out for History Month, and I wanted to invite SIU Carbondale's new chancellor, Dr. Austin Lane, who came here in July, early July. And so we've only recently met, and I've already been hitting him pretty early with, here's my plans, here's what I want, here's, and he has just been, okay, I hear you, let's do this. And he's just 100% on board. And so I was really thrilled when I sort of threw the anchor out, or threw the line out there and said, would you lead us in a charge? Would you, as our newest sort of leader, and also incoming with this plan of making SIU an anti-racist institution and a commitment to anti-bias, I wanted to see if you would make an appeal to our allies in the community. You've heard from us. We would like to hear from our allies. And so thank you so much.
Thank you, Vern. Before I give you some accolades, I've got to go back to Dr. Chevalier. What a beautiful keynote.
Thank you.
I felt like I was reading a book, and then had the visual. Every time you spoke a word in your presentation, you have a great story, and I'm glad you're here at SIUC and doing wonderful things. So I know the audience, if you could hear claps out there, you couldn't hear them, and we tried to clap. I saw Lindy doing a little bit of air clap there, but we want to clap for you. You did a fantastic job. I was fortunate to be able to be named the chancellor. Thank goodness for Dr. Mahoney, who was on the call, and you heard in his opening remarks how committed he is to the LGBTQ community, to diversity and inclusion. That makes all the difference when you're a chancellor coming into an institution that has a leader and a board who is 100% on board with the commitment in the areas that we're talking about tonight. It just means it makes all the difference. I was fortunate, as Vern just mentioned, Vern has been what I call a tenacious advocate. And as Vern stated, Vern was telling me when I think it was the first day I was here, wasn't it, Vern? That said, hey, let's get together because we've got some work to do. And I don't know if you know this, but because of Vern, Our center received a 5-star ranking from Campus Pride, which assesses our campuses. That's right, for LGBTQ resources and inclusivity. And this ranking is the highest in the state, and one of only 35 5-star rankings in the nation. And so hats off. That's an incredible amount of work that's being done. For Lindy, hats off to you as well. I know that Lindy saw me early on in my search. She was on the search committee. And Lindy will tell you that one of the questions, right, that came up, it was a focus on LGBTQ, and we talked then about my thoughts as it relates to some of the efforts and things that we're going to do here. So I want to congratulate all of you for kicking this wonderful month of events off. And this is only a month. I want to remind everyone that this work happens beyond this month. We can't end it on October 31st. This work has to continue on. And as Vern mentioned, we're going to be working together to do some things to not only enhance what we're doing now throughout the month, but then even after that, work towards doing things and continuing to get even better. I love the theme. The theme just, it warmed my heart. Be courageous, be kind, be you. That's the charge. I love the theme. Vern, if you came up with that, congratulations. That's a theme. That's almost something I would tell my loved ones or my kids or my students that are here is be courageous, be kind, and be you. Do that as you go through this month of activities. Do that throughout the year. And I just really hope you remember this theme. My president, being from New Jersey like me, I should have known that because we grew up in the Northeast, if you grew up in those areas, which was very, very close where I grew up in Hackensack to Greenwich Village neighborhood in Manhattan, when I heard that you were going to be premiering the Stonewall Uprising, and again, the president stole a little bit of my shine, but I had 2 family members involved in the Stonewall riots and demonstrations in 1969, and one last year that actually went back in June to the Stonewall 50 and the World Pride. And so very, very familiar and very proud of my family members who took part in those riots and demonstrations. So I was so excited to see that was one of our events. I thought, well, I didn't think anybody knew. And so I'm glad. And so if you have an opportunity to view the Stonewall Uprising, I would again encourage you to do it. It was a monumental event in our nation's history. And it's something that we need to honor, respect, and remember. I'll end my remarks by saying that, and you've heard this tonight already, and if you don't believe us, just watch. If you don't believe us, just watch us work. But SIUC, SIUE, as you heard earlier from Chancellor Pembroke, you heard earlier from our president, we are all committed to diversity and inclusion. We're committed to providing a warm and welcoming environment to all, regardless of their race, regardless of their ethnicity, their religion, their gender, their sexual orientation. We are that institution that is going to be laser focused on making sure that this environment is warm and welcoming. The time is now. It's not any better time. I've been doing this now for about 26 years, and I have not been more energized to finally have conversations that are real conversations about real people without being criticized myself and without being ostracized for having the ability to be able to support and using my platform and my position to help. And that's exactly what I intend to do here at SIUC. So I look forward to participating in the events this month and beyond. It does not stop on October 31st. And I want to thank again, Vern. I want to thank all of our students, our faculty, our staff. You've done a wonderful job. And so our charge is clear. It's the theme. It's be courageous. It's be kind. And most importantly, always be you. And so on that note, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chancellor Lane. Before I get to running through some of the programs that you've all just heard about, and I want to thank everybody who showed up for this, President Mahoney. And I am sad that Dr. Pembroke couldn't join us, but it was cool to see that video he made. And then, you, Chancellor Lane, and then especially Dr. Chevalier for once again giving me the warm and fuzzies. All of my colleagues and my students and, my poor supervisors know that I speak my mind. Honestly, seeing and hearing this system-wide venture and commitment to, support, I'm honestly actually very, very excited. And so, like I said at the beginning, we'd never done this before. We'd never collaborated directly with Edwardsville. It has always been sort of an in-house kind of thing. And, Lindy and I both at the beginning talked about the fact that we are in these tight circumstances right now. Let's try to make something of it, let's get us all here. And we've done that. And I'm so pleased that everyone was willing to hop in here with us. And to me, it's emblematic of you actually mean what you're saying. So for the events that folks have been alluding to, you can go to SIU's LGBTQ Resource Center and see the calendar events on Facebook. You can also find that on D2L or the main webpage, the scroll bar on the SIU webpage. Tomorrow night is the Stonewall Uprising movie screening. And so that's the one that folks have been referring to being really excited about. If you are a young person or, I'm not young at all. So if you're my age too, and you don't know as much about Stonewall as you should, and I think a lot of us could probably say that we're in that camp, log on to and there's a QR code on my on the calendar. Log on with there and you'll join a virtual room with me and we'll watch the movie together. And then we can have a video chat and talk about it. It's gonna be really fun. And so that will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. And so I really, really hope to see you all there. And Lindy, I want to give you an opportunity to also share some specifics of your calendar before we close out.
Thanks, Vern. Yes, absolutely. So obviously we're advertising some mutual events, especially like the Stonewall Uprising. So Edwardsville students, faculty, staff, you're more than welcome to join that. We are sending out announced lists via our listservs to make sure that you have that. You can also go to our CSDI events and programming webpage so that you can click on the links there as well. So a couple of events that I do want to highlight for us as well. We do have an inclusive conversation. So on our campus, these are that happen every 2 weeks and they're about current topics that people want to talk about. Tomorrow we have an overlap program that is from Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month as well as LGBT History Month, and it's about being Hispanic or Latinx as well as a member of the LGBT community. So really it's at 12:15 tomorrow. It's very open. We come in, talk a little bit about the topic, and then let people kind of share and kind of engage with one another. So it's a very open conversation for about an hour. So we would love to highlight that. We also have two unique events, which I know that Vern and the Center on Carbondale is having a couple of unique events as well. We are having a LGBT town hall later on in the month so that anyone who identifies as that in that community can come to a town hall and talk about their specific experience in the Edwardsville campus. So look for that. That's in collaboration with our student government. And then we're also being really brave and doing an in-person event, Wear the Rainbow. It's going to be a tie-dye event. So it's going to be outside, hopefully weather permitting. So be looking for that. We're going to have stations set up, very specific bottles for each person, that kind of thing. So again, go to our events page and you can find the registration links there. So yeah, we're really excited. There's going to be a lot of collaborations, but we're definitely go to the Stonewall Uprising tomorrow because I agree. This is a topic that a lot of people my age as well, right? Because we're in this age where we should know too. So please, please, please attend the events, attend the collaborations, attend the ones unique to your campus, but please attend. We have a lot of really good things going on. So with that, I'll say thank you for coming and then I'll pass it to Vern for closing.
Just gonna pass back and forth like hot potato. No, that's okay. So yeah, I'd like to close this out and once again thank Lindy for reaching out to collaborate. I'd like to thank, Chancellor Pembroke for sending in, it is a shame he couldn't be here, but he took the time to make that video. And so that speaks volumes to me. I want to thank Dr. Mahoney for joining us and telling us about I just learned a lot about how closely this closeness and facility you have with this community. And so that's invaluable to me. And then lastly, Chancellor Lane for, reaffirming where we are now, where we know that we are, and where we'd like to be, and giving us a little pep talk is how I'll view it. And thank everybody else for logging on. And this should be available in the Facebook live stream for ever how long Facebook permits these things these days. It varies. All right.
It's a good disclaimer.
I know.